everyone, it's Julia. I have this pile of awesomeness here. I have gotten these scraps of upholstery velvets and tapestry fabrics from an Etsy shop, and I'll link that down below. But I have been wanting to make one of these fold-over clutches for some time, and I thought this is the perfect project to use these scraps of velvets and tapestries. I have my lining fabric and my batting or my wadding or whatever you want to call it. It's quilt fleece. I'm using the Warm and Natural. And then a piece of denim, and this is from a thrifted piece of denim jeans, one of the legs, and I want that seam in the back there. And then again, I'm using the same fabrics as the lining fabric for my straps. I'm going to list all my supplies down below, that Etsy shop that I was talking about down below, and also what I've cut all my pieces to, so you know. But I'm using D-rings and a slider for this. I'm going to have an adjustable strap, a long adjustable strap for it. I want to do a patchwork look for the front of this fold-over clutch. And so I am just cutting straight lines and piecing here, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of my process. I'm loving these different varieties of scraps in this pack that I picked up, and I just am putting some interesting ones together. I'm at my sewing machine now, and I'm taking a 1/2 inch seam and joining these together. There's no rhyme or reason or probably no right or wrong way of doing this. Several mistakes I make along the way, and I'm wanting to share those with you too. I'm basically just flying by the seat of my pants here and just getting this to look somewhat decent here. I'm opening up my seams. I'm trying to get everything to lay flat. And I'm using a terry cloth towel to press some of those velvets so I don't crush the nap too terribly. Of course, this is upholstery fabric, so I do have some bulk in those seams, so I want to open those seams up as best I can to eliminate some of that bulk. And again, I've got my pieces joined here, but I am cutting and just getting some straight lines, and I'm going to continue my piecing. This is a form of, I've heard it called crumb quilting, where you join irregular pieces together and then make blocks out of them. I'm thinking about when I'm doing this that this could have been easily done with as like a foundation piece, and then do just a cut and flip type of a method like a crazy quilt as well. I'm using my Wonder Clips there to join my pieces, and I'm putting those clips right on the seams to keep those open while I do my next line of stitching. And here I have just, again, more of it stitched together, opening my seams, and just continuing with this patchwork look. I have my piece of quilt batting here cut to the size that I need, and I'm just lining this up to see how much further I need to add pieces and where I need to cover, because I want this entire piece of batting that I have cut covered with these velvet patches. This is a 12-inch by 15-inch piece of fleece, and again, I will have all the dimensions in the down below in the description. At this point, I really decided I needed to stitch those seams open and lay them flat. So I went to my sewing machine and I just took a stitch 1/4 of an inch away from the seam to lay those flat, and I like this much better. This really helped just eliminate that bulk and make it lay much nicer. Love this polka dot, and I really wanted to get a piece of that in there. So again, I'm just trimming and continuing to work getting this to the piece that I like. Now I have it to where I want it, but I wanted to add some trims to this. So I have a bunch of laces and vintage trim that I have had just in my stash, and putting some laces on this decorative upholstery trim, pinning that through, and this is pinned right through that fleece or that quilt batting. And I'll be taking this to my sewing machine and just stitching these. And I'm also stitching right in the ditch on some of my seams just to get that attached to that quilt batting. And now it's for the back of the purse. I'm laying my quilt batting down, putting my denim on top of that, and I'm going to stitch right through the batting as well on this. So this piece is joined as one piece. Now to get that zipper in, and I'm using a zipper that's longer than I need, and this is a metal zipper. It's a nice heavyweight metal zipper. Notice what I'm doing here. I'm lining that zipper up so it matches on the left-hand side, and I'm sandwiching that zipper between the layers of my lining fabric and my front of my purse. That zipper is laying face down, and I'm getting all those pins in. And I just completely open up that zipper so that that pull is out of the way. At my sewing machine, I'm just using my 1/4 inch zipper foot, not my zipper foot, but just my 1/4 inch foot. I like some of that zipper to show, and so that's why I don't use my zipper foot. I don't go real close to the teeth. I want to top stitch this, so I'm pulling that lining away from the zipper, and I will be top stitching this. Actually going to press a little bit on this zipper, or this lining fabric, just to get that away from the zipper, just to keep that down really nice. And then I'll take it to my sewing machine, and I'll top stitch that, and then half of my zipper is in. Now we're on to sewing the other half of the zipper, and again, that's sandwiching that in between the layers. Now I have the back of the purse and the lining fabric. And the right sides are together with that zipper in the middle. And then again, I just got rid of that zipper pull, got it out of the way, so I don't even have to deal with that at the sewing machine. Making sure everything is lining up on the left-hand side, and sandwiching that zipper in between my layers. And again, taking it to my sewing machine, and I will be stitching that using that same zipper foot, or excuse me, that same machine foot, and that 1/4 inch away. Now I've got this weird looking thing where my two sides hanging off my zipper. But again, getting that top stitched and getting that lining pulled away from it. Here's one of my oops, is I realized once this bag is folded over that this piece of lace isn't just going to not work. And so I folded that piece of lace over, and I am going to be stitching it down. One thing wonderful about creating with stitching and sewing is you can usually cover up your mistakes or figure out a way to fix it. Now that lace is going to work. Working on my straps now. This is the little tab that hooks the D-rings to the purse. I fold it over and then fold it over again and then top stitch this piece. This is going to end up to be a 3/4 inch wide strap. Just getting that in. This is placed on the back side of the denim side or the back side of your bag, 5 inches from the top. I want a 5-inch fold on this fold over clutch. And I'm just pinning this into place, and this is just pinned right onto the back of the bag. The lining is not in this, it's just that back of the bag, and I'm just pinning this through. I'll take this to the sewing machine and get this sewn and just attached so it's in place. No judging here. This is just my little stash of buttons. I used to manage a fabric store, and we would have wonderful sales, and I would just pick up buttons. But I wanted to add some buttons to this piece of lace, or yeah, and this is before the bag is complete. I'm just going to be sewing these on. This is not sewn through the lining at all. It's just that top piece all the way through the batting. Taking this to my sewing machine now, and you have my foot on that sews on buttons, and just getting this lined up. I walk it really slow at first, and to make sure that the needle is not going to hit the button in the wrong place. And then just zigzag these on. Now again, I'm not going through the lining piece on the back. This is just the front of my bag, and the back of that is the batting or the fleece. Now to get your bag sewn, make sure you open up your zipper, but that zipper cannot be off the edge. I've got my lining on one piece, and I usually mark my opening. You have to leave about a 5-inch opening. I'm going to use my wonder clips to get this clipped into place. Now for that zipper. You want that zipper, the teeth to match, and you want those teeth to be down towards the lining. Notice how they're all matched up there? And then I'm going to put a clip right there. And now for the front and the back of the bag, I'm just adding clips all the way around. When you get to the other side of the zipper, you fold it down towards the lining, so the teeth are towards the lining, and again, putting a clip in. I did not show how I sewed this, but let me tell you, I walk my sewing machine over that zipper, and then I have no problems. Getting all that clipped, and I put another clip right where that D-ring tab is. And then I'm taking it to my sewing machine. I do back stitch right at the lining, go all the way around, walk my sewing machine over that big bump, that's where that zipper is, and then back stitch again at the opening. Clipping this off, I clip my corners and clip that end of that zipper. And then to turn the bag, you just reach your hand in there and turn it right through that zipper opening. That's why it's imperative to leave that zipper open. And then poking out those corners. This takes a little bit. I like to roll the seam too, just to get the seams out, pressing that opening of that zipper lining, and we'll take that to my sewing machine and stitch that. Again, still rolling with my fingers and pressing everything down, just to get a nice press. At this point, I'm really loving this bag. I tell you give this a try. I love these fold-over clutches. It's so wonderful to be able to use some reclaimed fabrics, and you use up your denim, and this is what it looks like. It's just awesome. Nice weight to it. Just to give you an overview on how I'm creating these straps, I like my straps to be approximately 60 inches, and so I'm going to have to piece this. I have one piece, the width of my fabric, about 44 inches, and then I have another piece that's about 16 inches. I do a diagonal piece stitch right here just to eliminate bulk, and you can kind of see, and then I'm going to open that seam up. So I'm going to have a long strip approximately 3 inches wide by 60 inches long. And then much like that D-ring tab, I'm just folding this in half, pressing, and then meeting it in the middle, and also pressing it. This 3-inch wide strap is going to give you a 3/4 of an inch wide finished strap, which is the same dimension as my D-rings and also my lobster claw hooks that I'm going to be using. Just getting everything pressed nice and flat. And I do top stitch this closed on both sides of the strap. And now to get this, you put one of your lobster claws on. You get your little slide on, and then you stitch that down on one side of your strap. So then you have a thing that looks like this, and then you take the other end and you put it through your slide. And then add your other lobster claw and then stitch this down. Again, all these purse hardware will be in the description down below. So now I've got this detachable, adjustable 3/4 inch strap that measures, oh, I suppose with my seams, probably about 56 inches long. And again, this is detachable. I love this bag as a clutch or as a crossbody. Just add a little tassel to the front. This is in my Etsy shop, and if you want to just take a look, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. Bye for now.